the introduction part. Yeah, over to you, Mansi.
Thank you, Jyoti. So, hi everyone. I am Mansi Gujral and I'm working as a solution consultant here at Kalias Consulting. I am MuleSoft certified developer, and today I'm really excited to share my experience of MCP with you all. Rishabh, please go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Rishabh Pandey. I work as a solution consultant at KDS Consulting. I am a MuleSoft certified developer and also a Salesforce data cloud consultant, and happy to be a part of this great event. Over to you, Mansi.
Thank you, Rishabh. Okay, so starting with the session, we have agenda for today. In the agenda, we have introduction to MCP, why MCP is important, and then architecture and components here for MCP. Then we'll be following it with a live demo on setting up MCP in IDE with the prompt-driven development with MCP as well. And after that, we are going to discuss a few key takeaways regarding regarding the session that we have covered, and it will be followed by an interactive quiz. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to ping us on the chat throughout the session, or we'll have a Q&A session at the end as well. So starting with, what is MCP? So MCP, which is referred to as a model context protocol, it is an open standard that defines how applications expose their content, such as file contents, user actions, UI state, or active tasks to LLMs. So it is basically a specification that allows all the developer tools, which can be IDE or CLI, to share structured real-time application context with AI agents or LLMs. So these models can behave intelligently within the environment with the help of MCP, because these work in real time. Uh, the purpose of MCP is that it bridges the gap between what developer is doing and what AI needs to know to help us in real time. Then going ahead, why we prefer MCP. So why MCP is preferred is that as we see the statement here, that the AI is powerful but blind. So this basically means that LLM models have strong reasoning and capabilities, but they don't know what we are working on unless we tell them explicitly that we are working on this particular topic, and we want a solution for this. We have to tell everything explicitly to the AI models to get any solution for anything. So a few reasoning points here that we have are: don't know which file we are editing. So whenever we are working with a normal AI model, they don't know which file we are editing. They don't know whether the file we are working on is a CSV file, a text file, a JSON file, or anything. We specifically have to specify, but MCP detects it. Then we have don't know what task we are working on. So AI cannot tell us which tasks we are working on. So if we are working on a M unit, or we are working with debugging the code, AI won't be able to tell us at which particular point we are working with. We cannot see the app's state or data. We have some environment variables as well, and we have the test payload that we are receiving as well. So whenever we are working with general AI models, they don't know what the test payload is or what the environment variables are, can only respond based on what you manually type or paste. For everything, to get every answer, we have to type it explicitly uh, or manually, that which kind of response we want, what data is there, what kind of payload we are sending. And that can be very time consuming and also error prone at sometimes. So here it is where MCP comes in play. So MCP here acts as a bridge between the application and the AI. It defines a way for apps to send structured context to LLMs. And this structure context can be of any form, like it can be active records, history records, or even upcoming tasks that we have. So this context is shared continuously, and this everything that we are working on MCP is in real time. So basically, we can imagine this with an example as well. So imagine I'm trying to present this meetup to you, but I'm not sharing my screen. So in case if we are presenting a live demo and we are just showing speaking what all we are covering in the meetup, but we are not sharing our screen, that is how LLM without MCP. But when MCP is a part there, it feels like we are sharing the screen and the AI finally sees what we see. So it is very much easier when you know what context we are working on, and we are seeing that as well. So that is what MCP does for these LLM models. So now we can say that the AI with MCP is context aware and collaborative because it knows what you're working on, and we don't have to specifically mention. It can proactively offer assistance to us. So if we are debugging the code or anything, it can actively give us some prompts as well, or some responses there as well, so that we can check those. It it responds faster and more accurately, and it feels more integrated and intelligent as well. Then following it with architecture and components. So MCP has a architecture which works at the back end as well. So what this architecture is, this architecture that we see here, it is that we have a computer here, and on our computer we download or install MCP clients. These are nothing but the IDE or the other tools that we are working on. So it can be anything like a VS Code, Cursor, or any other tools that we can integrate MCP with. So once we've installed these particular tools on our computer, we start here, and from here the tools send or receive the context of to the MCP servers. We have three servers here: MCP server A, server B, and server C. So MCP client sends the request to these three servers using the MCP protocol, which is a standardized communication protocol designed to streamline the structured and real-time context. So here, when we are sending the request from MCP client to MCP server A, it further sends the request to local data source A. And we can consider that the local data source A will have the information on what environment we are working in, like all it can store all the project configurations or schemas, etc. And then this local data source A responds back to the MCP server A, which further responds back to the client. Then we send the request using the MCP protocol, similar way just like we did for MCP server A, to MCP server B, and this further sends the request to local data source B. In this particular part, we can store different kind of data, and this data can be log data or runtime data. And this will again return back the response uh, to MCP server B, and it will respond to the MCP client. After this, these two were the local resources. But here, if we see that MCP server C is not connected to any local source, but a remote service C. So this is the server, MCP server C. When MCP C client sends the request here, so this is the particular server which bridges your local environment with the external intelligence services over the internet. So the context is being sent from your IDE to MuleSoft, to MCP server C, which further calls the remote service C. And this is all happening via the web API. So this remote server C is where all the LLMs, like we can say GPT or Claude AI or any custom AI model that we have created, can integrate with our local resources. So this is how we see the structure and architecture and components of MCP. Then going ahead, we'll gather a few prerequisites before moving ahead with the demo. We are going to go ahead with, we would require Node.js. We can use any version of Node.js above 22, which is compatible with MCP. Then we would require Maven, Java 17, IDE, which can be anything like VS Code, Cursor, or any other tools that support MCP. Also, in this session, we are going to cover Anypoint Code Builder as well. And if you want to integrate using Anypoint Code Builder, then you would require the access to Anypoint platform as well. Going ahead with setting up MCP and IDE. For this, I'll just go ahead and present my another screen. Let me know when my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the cursor UI that we see. So basically, we are going to integrate with cursor in this session. And going ahead, I've already created one of the workspace or a folder here. We can go to the file section. We can open a folder. We can create a new workspace, and we'll be able to see that. And then what are the steps to create the MCP server is that we go to settings. Excuse me. Then here we have tools and integrations. In tools and integrations, as we see here, there have no MCP tools have been set up here. So what we are going to do is we are going to add a custom MCP tool here. So there are a few configurations that we add to this particular file, which is mcp.json. So I already have this context written here in my notepad. I'll just paste it here. And what this context actually refers to is that MCP servers is the tag where we set up the servers. We can add multiple servers in this particular file. Then MuleSoft refers to the name of the server that we are working on. Then we have the command npx. So command npx is basically that it is a command that is used for Node.js to run the npm packages. And then we have the arguments here, these particular arguments. This argument automatically confirms the prompts or which the package installs. And then we have this one. This command is basically that the MCP server in the MuleSoft will start, and the start is used to start the command. Then we specify the environments. Here we add the anypoint client ID and client secret, and we can add the client ID and client secret here. So here, if I save this file, I'll go back to the cursor settings, and here I'll see all of these have been enabled. So I'll turn on the schedule, turn on the MCP server here, and if we see 7 tools have been enabled. So these are the tools that MCP provides us once we have created the server. If we see create mule project, as the name suggests, that it is going to help us create a new mule project and generate mule flow. Whenever we create a mule project, it is going to generate another mule flow as well. This is for the deployment. For list applications, once we have specified the environment, then this particular tool is going to help us list all the applications that are present in that environment along with the metadata of that. Then going ahead, um, so currently what, and this is the command, this particular command which says npx -y MuleSoft MCP server start. This is the complete command that is used to start the server. Now, if I go to this meetup folder, I have .github and .vs code files here. So .github, this is the file. This has a file which is copilot instructions.md. So this file is basically a set of metadata instructions for AI assistants to ensure that they interact with the project in consistent way. So it provides a better assistance to the copilot. And then we have .vs code file. So .vs code folder is something which has the settings.json file. So this settings.json is the workspace specific settings file. We can also have it on the project level, and these are used to hide specific files and folders from the file explorer in the IDE, all these tags that we see here. So if we see the first tag here for the git, this is going to hide all the metadata for git from here. And I have also added this particular command. Whenever we are creating the project, we do not get this command by default. I have added this command, and why we are adding this command and what is the use of this command is that basically without this setting, even if we have defined the MCP server, the cursor might not be able to activate it automatically. So AI might not be able to get the real-time context in some context generally. Then going ahead, Back to the cursor settings. So here we have the chat section as well, and here we have a few default modes for chat. We can ask, we can use any particular agent, we can set it up manually, or we can just use the last mode that we have used. And there are many different settings that we have for chat here. Also, then we have a few AI models. They specify which AI model we want to use while giving the instructions or giving the prompts to the AI, which are connected with the MCP server. So we can change the server as well. We also get these options after that. Also, if we don't want to just connect to these servers, we can use open AI keys as well. And if we are using Claude, we can use all other keys here as well. So this has various settings here. Now, if we want to use code builder extension as well, for the deployment purposes, and we want to install the extension here. So Cursor does not have the extensions for Anypoint Code Builder itself. So how it gets those extensions is that it imports those extensions from VS Code. So in order to have Cursor, in order to integrate with Cursor, you would also require the VS Code on your system. So here, if I see in my extensions, currently I do not have Anypoint Code Builder extensions involved. So I'll go to my VS Code. From here, from the extension section, I already have these extensions opened. If I see there, I already have the extensions installed in my VS Code. So this is the extension pack that we install, and we get all the extensions for the code builder as well. And these are very helpful to us while integrating there. So then we go back to Cursor. Here in general settings, we have an option which says import settings from VS Code. We just go ahead and click on import, and we confirm it. This particular option, whatever settings have been applied to my VS Code in a local system, uh, these take all those extensions there as well. Like we see here, Anypoint Code Builder extensions has been added here. So with this, if we open any particular project, or we are asking the prompts, or at the end we want to go ahead and deploy using the Anypoint Code Builder, we want to see the structural workflows side by side of what flows are being created by the prompts that we are sending, we can use Anypoint Code Builder extension for that purpose. I think that is it for the setup part. I would like Rishabh to take over and explain how we can deal with the prompts.
Thank you so much, Mansi, for the information regarding setting up. Let me just present my screen. Yep. So I have my cursor set up with all the extensions and the MCP tools enabled in my cursor. I see these tools are pretty much similar to the MuleSoft lifecycle. And I have also logged into my Anypoint platform using the ACB extension. So what I'll try to do is we'll just test out these tools which are available from the MCP server. We'll just create a simple Mule application named log every hour, which contains a scheduler and a logger that logs the time every hour and send it. So first things first, to interact with your AI LLM model, you will need to hit Control Shift L to open this chat terminal. And as you can see here, it is calling some create mule project, which is the same tool which is present in your MCP server. So I'll just accept the argument, and the argument which it is calling is project path, which defines where the project needs to be created. It is in the directory MCP meetup. This is my workspace. Also, it gives out some metadata as a result that this tool was a success, and the message says that mule project structure has been successfully created. Now it also asks you to accept the XML which it has created here. So on the project explorer in the left side, as I can see, here is a project created log every hour. If I open the project folder, I can see the log every hour XML, and this is the XML which it has created. On the left hand side, this is the preview of Anypoint Code Builder extension. So if you want to see the UI version of what your XML has been written, you have to enable the Anypoint Code Builder extension, and then you can interact with this and set out and play with the configurations here, like the time unit frequency and other connectors configuration. So what next? I'll just try to list the applications which are available over my Anypoint platform. List the applications that are deployed to sandbox environment. So yet again, it is calling another tool which was available over here, which says list applications. So it will call the list applications tool and will give us the details of the sandbox environment, that what particular applications are deployed over there. So it says that currently there is one application deployed to sandbox environment. This is the name of the application and the status, the public URL. To confirm the application, we can go to Anypoint platform, hit reload, and see what the runtime manager of our sandbox environment says. Yeah, so this is the application detail which we got here in this. So what I'll do next is try to build this project which I just created. And then hit run, and then we will be inside our log every hour project. Moving next, I will give the command to, okay, now we are in the directory log every hour. So now I'll give the command to deploy this application to sandbox environment with the name as rlogger with default configurations. I am not setting up any replica size or the number of replicas. It will do the deployment with the default configurations. To- Okay, so it says that it failed. So we'll try to build the project before deploying it. Build the project using mvn commands. And yet it will run the mvn clean package. While this is running, I can show you how to select out the LLM models which are available over this AI IDE. So as you can see, there's an option to select agent and select out these options. While this is in auto mode, it will give the balance, speed and check from other AI models present here. As you can see, the other options are Claude for Sonnet, O3, Gemini, and ChatGPT. So if you specifically want to use a particular AI model, you could use that. And yes, the build was successful for this location, and then now we'll try deployment. It's calling the tool again. In the meanwhile, while it is deploying, I want to just cover the project structure while we are hitting these commands, what the uh, backend service is doing. Okay, so it says that the deployment has been done to the endpoint platform. So I'll just cover the project structure. So there is a target. So there's a folder called .vs code in every project. So while we run out these commands, a .vs code folder is generated, which contains the launch.json and settings.json file. So this particular folder is basically a project level config folder used by, say, Cursor or VS Code to store workspace specific settings and debug configurations. So it handles the editor behavior, debug settings, extension specific settings, and so on. In short, it is just a control center for how your IDE behaves specifically for your project without affecting your global user settings. Then we have the settings.json file. Please save it. Yeah. So in the settings.json file, there are these arguments. So the first three says that these are the Java support settings which enable debugging shortcuts, unit test integrations for Java based Mule apps. And the next four are these are the XML and Mule formatting, which ensures that Mule XML files and DataWeave scripts are validated and formatted on save. It also prevents broken flows due to misaligned XML. Also, then we have this file called launch.json. This file configures how to run debug a MuleSoft application locally using the Java runtime. So as it says the version and these Java specific settings. So we have this tag called main class. This sets the main class as the Mule default entry point. Next tag is CWD. So CWD stands for current working directory, and the placeholder for this is this dynamically resolves to the root folder of your currently open project. Then we have some custom mule runtime arguments. With these two files under .vs code folder, we can run mule application, auto validate flows, and also have cursor assist us intelligently with context without using Anypoint Studio. So as it says that this application is deployed, I'll just check it in the Anypoint platform. Yeah, so this was the particular application which was deployed right on 9:33. So while we move forward to the next part of the demo, I'll just create out one use case. Yeah, so I have written it here. So it says that I need to implement a MuleSoft flow to upsert account data in Salesforce. The flow should be triggered when a new file is placed in a specific SFTP location, and upon file arrival, use one on new file connector to pick up the file from SFTP instead of just the normal read connector. Perform basic data weave transformation to map the incoming data to Salesforce account fields. Upsert the records in Salesforce using the external ID field. Leave all the connector specific configurations empty, as I will enter it on myself. And lastly create the Mule project named as Salesforce account sync. Let me just go back to the directory, which is MCP meetup first. Go to directory. Yep. Giving this command, it will do everything on the directory MCP meetup. So let's just wait for it to go to this directory, and then I'll send out the previous prompt. Yeah, so as it says, we are in the current directory, which is MCP meetup. I'll paste out this prompt, and let's just wait for the response. Yeah, it says again to create Mule project. I'll accept that. So on the left side, which is the project explorer, we can see a Salesforce account saying project structure is created. So it is suggesting some changes, and we'll accept those. Yep. So as we can see the XML of this project, we can see that there is an SFTP listener, which is an on new file, and there is one transform message, and it is doing some type of mapping, but we haven't given some context of how the mapping should be done, and it says that you need to add more. And there is one Salesforce upsert connector. So I'll also tell it is that to change the logic, and I also need to send out an email after the Salesforce record upsert has been done. Also send an email that contains the number of records upserted successfully and the failed ones after the Salesforce upsert. Yep. Yeah. So as the prompt says, it is reading the Salesforce accounting.xml and it is suggesting some changes. We'll accept those changes and we'll try to see those in the UI. As we can see, there is one send email connector attached here. So doesn't matter how our use case is and how we want to implement our use case, we can just give out the prompts and use the logic and give the logic to the AI model, and it will generate all those settings by itself. So as a result, as of now, the settings for the SFTP connector and the send email connector is empty. So what I'll do is I have a similar project created by this prompt wherein I have filled all the information by my configurations. As you can see, there's an on new file connector and one logger and one transform message which transform all the data, and there's one upsert connector of Salesforce, and lastly the logger. So we'll try to deploy this application and then run the test. So in the first part of the demo, we saw doing the deployment by the prompt. There's one more deployment option available for you for which is powered by the Anypoint Code Builder extension. As you see, there are four buttons available over here. The third button says that deploy this Mule application to Cloud Hub. While we click this button, it asks you to set the deployment target, which is Cloud Hub 2.0. And then again, it will ask you to set the deployment target, which is Cloud Hub. I'll deploy it to Cloud Hub US is 2 shared space. And then it will confirm you the environment where you want to deploy it. I'll select sandbox, and then lastly the asset version. I'll click hit enter. Yep. So as a result, it is packaging the project. It will take around 5 to 6 minutes. In the meanwhile, we can cover the key takeaways from this session, and I hope Mansi is answering all of those questions in chat. So coming to our slide. Yeah, firstly, MCP makes AI smarter by making your IDE speak its language. So, like we know, MCP lets your IDE share real-time context with AI. Taking an example, AI knows you are inside choice mule block, and it suggests conditional routing without needing you to explain. Second one, real-time context transform the developer experience, especially for the integration platforms like MuleSoft. So instead of just pasting your code or explaining your setup, the AI already knows what you are building. For an example, as we connect Salesforce or SAP connector in a flow, it proactively generates the basic data weave mapping step for us. Third one, prompt driven development isn't the future, it's already here. So you can generate flows and logic by simply describing them in your natural language by explaining your use case. And then, like, we use prompts like create a flow for this, and AI build the entire mule flow with the project structure which you define. The next one, which is you can integrate MCP into any development stack using open standard. So MCP is open and can work with any language, tool, or IDE, not just cursor. Also, you can build your own MCP server using Node.js to power AI assistance in your own internal IDE tool. The next one, which is Anypoint Extension Pack, brings ACB features locally. So you can get your code builder functionalities like project scaffolding and deployment right inside your cursor or VS Code, as we saw in the UI. You example, you can use the command to create mule project and deploy to CloudHub with using built-in Anypoint CLI integration. The next one, which is context aware AI, helps at every stage of development. So it says that from designing APIs to writing transform logics and debugging flows, AI assists you in real time. For an example, like if we face any error in the flow and we are bidding, AI automatically instantly suggests you the changes which is required for the error to go out. The next one, which is the you can combine ACB, MCP, and OpenAI into a hybrid AI first MuleSoft workflow. So you can get the best of both ACB CLI tools plus MCP smart context with the combination of your LLM model, which we just saw. For an example, use the AI to write flows, ACB to deploy and visualize, and then MCP to keep it all in sync. So before moving forward, let's just check how our deployment is going. Yeah, so it says that FSFTP to Salesforce account v6 is deployed to sandbox environment. I'll just open this in runtime manager. Yeah, as we can see, this application was deployed at 9:43 using the ACB extension. So what we'll try to do is I'll just show what the accounts extract, what our use case was while I open this file. This is some type of accounts data which is present, which says account name, account number, account owner, account site, and other details. And this is the file which is uploaded at this SFTP location. Yeah, so this is the accounts underscore extract.csv. And under this, this particular flow has synced all those files. We'll check those in Salesforce. While I log into Salesforce, I can see some accounts file by the last modified as 9:45. I'll open one type of account and go to details. So this was the data which was present in that particular file, and it was created by my user and also last modified at 9:45. So this was the deployment options available for you on your cursor ID. I just quickly want to cover few more things. Okay, so in the general settings, while we go here, there is an option called data sharing available. So what does it say? So we have two particular types of mode available over here. First one being private and second one being the share data. So in private mode, in this particular mode, the AI assistant doesn't receive any file, tab, or cursor content. It basically has no visibility in what you are working and what file you are changing. However, this is useful when you are working on a sensitive data or say confidential data of your clients. uh, and the second mode, which is the shared data mode. This mode is what enables MCP to shine. When shared mode is turned on, the cursor ID continuously streams your open file and your folder structure to the AI model through MCP server, through which you can outperform your prompt driven engineering and then get the suggestions from the AI. Yep. So while we click the option to deploy through the Anypoint code extensions, you could see some files being generated here under the resources tag, which is deploy.json and the deploy underscore ch2.json. So the deploy.json file specifies the runtime version, worker size, application name, worker, and auto start. So these are the basic information needed for the deployment to happen. And as we selected to deploy it to CloudHub 2, another file which contains similar type of information was generated to get the right information to deploy it to Cloud Hub 2.0. Yep, so I'll just try to cover one more connector here. List applications. Deploy it to sandbox. Yep. Moving forward, I think we are good from the key takeaways. I think I'll over give this over to Jyoti for quiz, or if we have any questions, we could cover before that.
um, Rishabh and Mansi for organizing, and actually not for organizing but specifically for explaining these minute details to all our audience. I believe everybody has already digested all the key takeaways that we have said just now, and hope we were able to give you a good learning on that. But we are not ending here. We have a lot of exciting things moving forward. And yes, to make sure we are adding all the questions that we have for this event, we'll make sure that we are answering it all together. But now we'll be starting with the Kahoot quiz, which is the crucial part of our presentation today. Let me quickly share my screen. Okay, I hope my right window is visible. So I will request everybody of you to log into www.it and add this game pin, add your good name, and we should be good to start. We already have 3 participants added. This is the right time to show your excitement. Okay, we have 19 participants, 20 actually. I would request all 40 participants, or I can say 39 participants, to join, because 3 of us have created this Kahoot, so we definitely know the answer. Okay, I'll wait for 1 more minute and then we'll start with the quiz. And considering the fact that we all were a good listener in this meeting today, the fastest finger will definitely win. Okay, I don't think anybody else is going to join. So 1, 2, 3, and start. Your first question is on your screen. Okay, so what is the primary purpose of MCP? That's a great read. Three more. To expose application context to LLMs. That's great. Let's check out the leaderboard. Apurva is on first. So the next question is on screen. MCP, which is a model context protocol, is solely a data sharing protocol used to transfer file between applications. Is it a true or false? That's nice. Only 3 rounds. But yes, we have a lot of questions. Now let's check out the scoreboards. Anurag on top, Aman on second, Apurva is on third. Let's check out the next question. Why is MCP described as enabling context-aware AI? Fastest finger wins. Okay, so the second answer is correct. Let's check out the leaderboard. Aman is on the top, Anurag is on the second, Nidhi on third. Now let's check out the next question. The fourth one. This is a multi-select. What does the code builder ACB extension pack enable in the cursor of VS Code? I think we have best selection of GIFs or the pictures for each questions. So we have second, third correct. Let's check out the scoreboard. Aman is on the top, Anurag on the second, and maybe on the third. Moving on to next question. This one is also multi-select. What does the ACB extension add to the cursor or VS Code environment for modes of development? Three answers are correct. B, C, and D. Let's move on to the scoreboards. Aman is on the top, and I believe none of the other positions have changed. So let's check out the next. What did the cursor AI assistant not have access to by default window without MCP? So it's a true and false question. It's an error message from mute runtime. Okay, next question. This we have to add our question answer. We have to type the answer. We have amazing answers, and 6 of them were correct. That's great. So Nidhi has come to second position and Aman remains in the same. Check out the next answer. What is the primary purpose of launch.json in a VS Code? VS launch.json in a VS Code or cursor project. 21 answers so far. So the D option is correct. No changes on scoreboard. Second last question. In time to leave the scoreboard. Which configuration enable cursor to discover and communicate with the custom MCP server? Correct. No changes in scoreboard. The last question. This is a big one. Okay, so on the screen, the correct sequence. And lastly, let's check out the scoreboard. Mannat is on the third, I'm sorry. Congratulations, Mannat. Nidhi on second. Aman on third. That's great. It's a hat trick, I believe, for Aman. Congratulations, all of the winners. And yes, that was it. Thank you all for joining the meetup. Thank you for putting your valuable questions, and I hope we were able to help you with all of them. And we'll definitely come up with new sessions, new events, and new topics. So,
Jyoting, as a closing statement, I want to say that if you are trying to set up your MCP server, or say you are trying to do what we did today in this demo, if you are finding any challenges doing that, you could directly reach out to our LinkedIn or Slack handles, which is Rishabh Pandey and Mansi Gujral. You could directly ping me, and we could help you solve all your errors and issue which you are facing.
definitely helpful. Thank you, Rishabh, for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Also,
Yeah,
Jyoti, do you want to take a screenshot of the participant
absolutely.
with their
Absolutely. That
videos
I
on?
was. So I have already provided everybody a presenter access. I would just request each of us to turn on their camera so that we can have a cute picture for our LinkedIn, for our meetup event. I'd request everybody to just turn on their camera. Then cute smiles captured. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.